Hey guys, Charlie here. And in this video, I want to talk about Netflix horror film, Mr. Harrigan's Phone. It's actually a short story by Stephen King. And, of course, we all know Stephen King, the king of horror films. And in this film, it stars Jaeden Martell. He was also in another Stephen King film, It. He was in that one as well. Yeah. So in the film, he lost his mom like when he was a kid. We start up with him when he's like 10 or something, and like he's lost his mom not like a bit recent, and he and his dad are still feeling her loss. They're still mourning. They're still missing her so much. So they now go to church, and at church, the town's billionaire. They live in a small town, and there's this billionaire who lives in their town, and he's played by Donald Sutherland. His name is Mr. Harrigan. Hence the title of the film is Harrigan's Film. So he now comes in, and Craig is told to come to the pulpit and read from the Bible. So he does, and Mr. Harrigan is impressed. He even gives him a nod. So he now approaches Craig's dad that he wants him to come to his house. So wants Craig to come to his house 3 times a week to read to him. That he has a whole bookshelves filled with you know books, and he wants Craig to come read to him that. So Craig takes the job, and he says he's going to pay him for that. So Craig takes the job and starts going there. So years go by. He's now started high school. So he now they're now becoming very, very close. They can talk about anything, everything. They talk about life, about like the messages and the books that they read. So he now buys his Harrigan a phone, a cell phone. So his Harrigan doesn't want it. He's like, it has radiation. I don't want any of that. So, so he's like, no, there's actually benefits to it. He now shows him what it can do and all that. So even because Harrigan is so focused on the stock market, like he even has a stock market on it. So you don't even need newspapers. Newspapers are like a day late. This one is like maybe minutes, like so it's that current. So he now agrees, takes it now. So then I exchange numbers, and they start being more and more closer. And in high school, Craig now starts getting bullied, but he doesn't tell Mr. Harrigan exactly, but he kind of hints like, okay, if like someone's trying to put me down, like what should I do? Should I? So he now said, no, you stand up for yourself. You don't take that. You knock him down. So he now went, he now tried to put the advice to use, but it didn't work out for him. So one day he now goes to visit Mr. Harrigan to read to him as he usually does, only to find him that he's dead. He's sitting in his chair and he's died. And he has his cell phone in his hand, the one he bought him, and he was just about to dial him. So like maybe before he died, he was about to dial Craig. So he now calls his dad and says, see what has happened. So the dad now says, okay, I've called the ambulance, I've called the police, you just hang put. So he now does something. He now takes a book, now sits down, and now reads to Mr. Harrigan. So that was touchy. That part was really moving. So at his funeral, he now puts the phone of Mr. Harrigan, the one he bought him, into his jacket pocket. Now tells him like to keep in touch. So when after they lay him in the ground, his lawyer now approached Craig and his dad and tells them that Mr. Harrigan left him a sizable amount and put it in trust so that he'll be able to go through to see him through college, and he'll have plenty left to do whatever he wants with. So things are now like looking up, looking up. So Craig now he now goes back to school, and the bully has now been expelled. So the bully was selling drugs to kids in school, and he was expelled because of that. But Craig saw him one of the days he was selling, so he now assumed that it was Craig that exposed him. So he now threatened Craig like, I'm gonna get you for this. Watch your back. So there's now like a school dance, and Craig was there, and the bully shows up, takes him outside, and really beats the crap out of him. And I believe his intention was to kill him. But then like a car pulls into the parking lot, so he now like had to run so that no one would see him. So Craig keeps his mouth shut, refuses to tell his favorite teacher. He has a teacher, she's been so wonderful, so nice to him. So, he really likes her. So she now, cleans his wounds and all. So she tries to get him to talk who did it. But he's not going to say that would just make things worse. So he now got like a nice scent from his teacher, and I said, wow, I like your perfume. So she now said, no, it's a soap, it's not a perfume. She now tells him the name. So he now goes home. He's now like angry because now he's still grieving Mr. Harrigan that's passed, and now this bully has threatened him and beaten him, and now there's more. This is not the end of it. The guy is promising that I'm still gonna get you. So he's like, what was this? So out of anger, he now picks up his phone and calls Mr. Harrigan. So the phone, you can hear it ringing, ringing, ringing. So he just starts talking to Mr. Harrigan. I wish you were here. This is what has happened. This bully has beaten me up and he's still threatening me. I really wish you were here. And so he now hangs up and he now goes to sleep. Then the next day, he's like, I think the next day, he's going to school with his friends in the car. They're driving by the bully's house. They now see the bully's dead body is being brought out by being uploaded into an ambulance, and the parents and they're all crying. So he's now touched, like, oh wow. So he now gets a text message from Mr. Harrigan. Or I think he texted Mr. Harrigan. I forgot which one came first. I think he sent a text to Mr. Harrigan, like, did you do that? Because I called you to talk about him. And like, now he's gone, he's dead. So he now got a text back from Mr. Harrigan. So he now ran to his dad, like, dad, we gotta go dig up Mr. Harrigan. He's alive. So the father was like, what? And I said, yes, that I put his phone in his jacket pocket and I just received a text message from his phone. So we gotta go dig him up. He's alive. So the dad like explains to like, no, that's not possible. That when a person dies, they do an autopsy. So they cut the person open and check for cause of death. So there's no way he's still alive. And I said, and besides, the technology today, you can clone a person's phone and use their number to call someone and send them text. So that's probably just a scam. So like, don't believe that. So he now dismisses it, though he's suspicious, but he kind of like puts it away. Now keeps the phone, gets a new phone, and keeps the phone at home. So he now goes into college. He gets admission to college. He now goes to college. So while he's in college, he now gets a call from his dad. He now tells him that his favorite teacher has died. That they're burying her. So he now comes back home for her burial. So he now gets the story that actually she and her fiance were run the road by some guy who was drunk, and she died. Her fiance is like in hospital. It's like really bad situation. But the drunk driver walked out of the whole incident without a scratch. So of course Craig was angry, but like for sure, like justice would be served. So, but the guy he's from a rich family. Then the only thing that happened was that he got sentenced to 3 months in a rehab center. So he was pissed. Like what? So he now went with all that rage. Now picked up his old phone that had Mr. Harrigan's number on it. Now charged it, plugged it in, and waited for it to like charge a bit. Now called Mr. Harrigan. Now gave him the guy's name and say, the guy has killed his favorite teacher, and this and that. Gave him the full story. And I said, I want you to kill him. That was what he said. He hung up the phone. So he now went back to college. He now started feeling bad. Like, okay, this thing is real. Like, I don't have the right to decide who lives or dies. Like, that's not fair. So he now started feeling bad. So he kept checking the internet for the guy obituary. So he would check the line to know if the guy's if there's an obituary that the guy died or something. So he kept coming up empty. So like, oh, like thank God. So he now forgot all about it. So like maybe a few weeks went by. He calls me and now says, oh, did you hear some rich kid committed suicide in a what's it called, rehab center? So he was like, what? So he now raced to his laptop, now typed the guy's name, and his obituary was there that he committed suicide. So he now went to investigate. He now went to the rehab center, now bribed one of the workers there to tell him exactly how the guy died. So they now told him that the guy had cut a bar of soap into half in the shower and forced one of the halves into his throat, and he choked and died on it. So he now asked the guy that worked there, like, what was the name of the soap? He now told him it was the same name that his teacher told him was the soap that she uses. So he now knew it was Mr. Harrigan. So he now broke down, he cried, he was remorseful. He now went to Mr. Harrigan's grave. Now, he now apologized, he now cried and told him he was sorry, he told him he can rest, he won't bother him again. So he now went to like a lake and threw the phone away. So that's where the movie wraps up. The film was very, very cool. If you haven't seen it, go check this movie out. If you haven't, when you see it, tell me what you thought about it. This film was really nice. Very, very nice. Very, very lovely, interesting. So that's it for this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. If you've enjoyed the video, please like the video. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you.